So this is how we gonna start the stream off, man. The first article that I got for you is breaking news as of today. You may have not asked for it. We may have not needed it.
Thanks for the sub.
But it's looking like it's coming regardless. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for a Call of Duty movie. If you like Call of Duty. If you're not, you probably feel like. Live action Call of Duty movie is officially, is finally after, wait, I cannot read. Live action Call of Duty movie is finally official after Paramount Strike's deal with Activision. Top Gun Maverick mentioned as guiding star. Shout out to Elite Jersey with the sub. Appreciate it. Call it Tubi. What up, Dooms? You level 99 yet? 22 years after it began, the Call of Duty video game series is finally getting a Hollywood movie thanks to a deal between Activision and Paramount. Boy, if you don't get your ass on, bye. Don't act like that. Both companies issued a joint statement in which they said the partnership aims to bring the iconic Call of Duty universe to the life on big screen, delivering an unforgettable cinematic event for fans worldwide. Unfortunately, we know nothing of the movie itself except it's a live action feature film. There's no release window or director attached or cast. Call of Duty fans for years have wondered why the game hasn't had an official adaptation. Nigga, nobody's ever wondered that. Boy, stop lying. That is a Call of Duty movie has never crossed my mind. Just making shit up. Consider trying to stay in the good graces of Activision, considering Hollywood's love of war movies. Call of Duty itself is one of the biggest video game franchises of all time, with over 500 million copies sold globally. A movie would benefit from launching it into an established audience and instant brand recognition. All right, so as much as it pains me to say this, a Call of Duty movie could work because it is military type content. In order for, first of all, I don't care. I don't want this. But if they are going to do it, I would hope that it's a good one, especially because we're living in this era where gaming content adaptations has become better. So I have two suggestions if anybody ever sees this stream. If you want to make a good Call of Duty movie, it's got to be one of two things. It's got to be it's got to be either a grounded, heartfelt, character-driven, pull on your heartstring type of action drama, kind of like Saving Private Ryan. They got to take the Saving Private Ryan type route, or they got to make a mind-bending thriller like Black Ops 2. They got to adapt one of those type of stories. You can't do the advanced warfare space bullshit. They either got to do the numbers Mason or they got to do the traditional World War II type shit for it to work. And you're gonna need to get a good writer. You can't just rely on set pieces and shit like that. Yo, shout out to Monstars with the sub. They need Ice Cube. They need Ice Cube. It was you. It was you. Fast and the Furious already. That hell no. They got to pull a no Russian scene. Nah. Chill. He's what did Ice Cube say? Like, I can see a scene.
Only Sonic wields that type of power.
I can see a scene where, like, if Ice Cube is in the movie and like the Nazis are attacking, they do a World War II one. The Nazis are attacking. That nigga screams, "It was you!" No, he goes, "Oh my god." Like the real, bruh. That shit would be fucking great. I don't know why he did it. He did that shit so sassy in the fucking movie. If you haven't seen that shit.
Why do people resubscribe to the idea of
but yeah, as much as it, jokes aside,
only Sonic wields that type of power.
As much as it pains me to say this, a Call of Duty movie could work, but it depends on how they approach it. If they approach it with touchdown, if they approach it with more a more grounded, human-driven story, where war is the backdrop, but you know, the writing is centered around the relationships and the characters and the conflict that they have to endure, kind of like what the game was pretty much based off of, the Call to Duty, then the actual movie could work. It just depends on how they write it. If they write it like a video game movie where it's like balls to the wall, we're gonna go get the bad guy, like some Jarhead shit, I'm like, yeah, we've seen that already. I don't know. And to be honest, we've seen Saving Private Ryan, so like, I don't know, man. I don't know. You're asking a lot from Hollywood. Well, to be fair, video game adaptations have gotten better. So it's possible. Sipping on that Gatorade type shit. So it could work. The question is, who's gonna go see it? Who's gonna support the culture? I might be wrong, but wasn't Private Ryan a character in the war at the World War game? Not to my knowledge. a World at War adaptation with zombies at the end, like a post-credit scene. You would want that, like zombies being implemented into it, like a fantastical Nazi zombie type movie. First mission. I don't know. I feel indifferent about this. The only way I can get excited about it is if when a trailer drops, if it looks good. But for now, like, I don't really care. I'll watch it when it's on streaming services. I feel that. I feel like what I am afraid of with this movie, I will say, is I'm afraid it could have like the Five Nights at Freddy type of effect, because there's brand recognition there. A lot of casuals would just go see the movie, whether it's good or not. Because I watched the Five Nights at Freddy movie. That shit was ass. But it was one of the best selling movies that came out that year, like what, a year or two ago? That shit was ass. But like Five Nights at Freddy's fans, they're so rabid, they're gonna go support whatever. Same thing with that Minecraft movie. That shit was ass. But it still sold like crazy because people just want to go support what they love, regardless if it's good or not. And I'm afraid a Call of Duty movie comes out, a lot of casuals are gonna go out and watch it with their bacon skins equipped. And Hollywood's gonna see that, and they're gonna turn it into a franchise where 10 more movies come out, and also the game doesn't improve. Like, you think the game isn't improving now? Oh my God. If the movie is successful and that shit is ass, the games are gonna get worse. Yeah, it's brand loyalty. So we'll see how this one plays out. We'll keep an eye on it. We will keep an eye on it. What's the budget? How much they willing to burn through? Who knows? I'd imagine the budget's going to be real. The Paramount is backing it. It's a big IP. So, in other news, a clanker has been added to 2XKO. That's right. League of Legends favorite Blitzcrank is now going to be playable in 2XKO. If you're not familiar with 2XKO, that's Riot's new tag fighter. The game that had the FGC in a chokehold until Marvel Token was announced. But, you know, I'll entertain this trailer. I'll entertain it. Is anybody excited? Anybody excited about this shit? I'm not. I don't really care, bro. This is a Marvel Token waiting room. Motherfuckers gonna hype this shit up. I know I'm not playing it. I don't want to say I'm not playing this game. I don't know if I'm gonna play it long term.
Hostiles approaching. Reciprocating hostility. Helping.
Hold on, what the? Was she blocked?
Hostility.
No, she wasn't a thing. Oh, I'm bugging. She is blocking. This man gets a grab from across the map. Even if you're blocking, you have to jump. And he's fast.
Trash detected.
The FGC is the fighting game community.
Together. Failure.
Wind it up. Gets a little power boost, a stun.
Makes my fist go bang.
I'm not gonna lie, he looked cold. He's got command grabs too. That's broken already. I'm not gonna lie, like, since Marvel Token was announced, like, this game has kind of been put on the back burner in terms of it's like, if you don't get a job, beep, 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 beep. I'm not gonna lie, this character looks very trolly. Looks like my type of shit. Grabs, power-ups, stuns, he's fast, combos. The game is called 2XKO for the millionth time.
Greetings, Echo. Shall we damage some enemy units? Ready?
Yeah, Robo Zangief.
You are encumbered by tiny pests.
Did he just Spider-Man swing? What the fuck?
Charge. They are not constructed like me. Error.
That's fire. That's fire. You're not constructed like me. You're not built like me. League of Legends fighter. Yeah, 8 bricks. Where you been at, bro? Where you been at, bro? You just wake up from 2014? They've had multiple betas for this. I've streamed it, bro. This game has been announced like 3 years ago. Where you been at, dog? My bad. I've been sleeping. I see. That nigga just woke up from the ice with Captain America.
Into the faces. Is that proper trash talk?
It'll be free to play.
Engage. Hazardous unit contained.
What up, Nil Mill?
Unit dismantled. You should change your settings to win.
And look, there's another beta September 9th, so there's another one coming. I'm not gonna lie, he does not look bad. I'm surprised how fast he moves. Invincible, yeah, Invincible's coming out next year. 2XKO comes out next year, and Marvel Token. If you like fighting games, you will be eating in 2026. I'm not listening to anybody who says there's nothing to play. 3 heavy hitters are coming out next year, and that's just fighting games. Like, and to be fair, the game looks good. I'm not gonna sit here and hate. I'm gonna be 100% honest. The game looks good. It's more so like I don't know if I'll be able to balance it. There are 3 tag fighters coming out next year. This Marvel Token and fucking Invincible. I just don't know if there's enough time for me to bounce between all of them and get halfway decent. And like I don't have like an affinity towards League of Legends, so unfortunately it kind of fell to the back burner for me. I'm a fan of obviously Marvel. I'm a fan of Invincible. So it's just not enough time. It's like it's one of those cases. One of the worst things about business that a lot of people don't teach is like a lot of people would be like, yo, sometimes it's just not, the product isn't good. Sometimes it's just you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, bro. Just like in real life. And this game kind of positioned itself in the real, like I feel like it should have came out by now. Bro, no cap, I already have rivals, so I might be on 2XKO. TBH Gaming is dead. 24 hours is not enough. Yo, shout out to Majestic with the sub, is appreciated. Game looks fire, but not for me. Please be on the PS4. TBH, can you put in a request for me? No, never that. But yeah, that's the new trailer. Blitzcrank is coming to 2XKO. It has been announced, and a closed beta will be available on September 9th. You can learn more at play2xko.com. It's probably where you sign up. Have you played the new Skate game? Nah, I haven't played it. I'll probably try it when it isn't it supposed to go live next month? I'm not trying to learn 3 fighting games. Fuck that. In other devastating news, Rocksteady Studios has found their new game director, Bill Money. He worked on Assassin's Creed Mirage, Valhalla, Origins, and was the design director for Arkham Origins. His role was tied to third-person action melee combat and open-world traversal, all hallmarks of the Arkham trilogy. I liked Origins, but I hated fucking Valhalla and I hated Mirage, so I'm not gonna lie, man. New Batman game is being headed by the guy who made Assassin's Creed Mirage. Fucking that's a sus resume, man. That's a sus resume. I don't know, man. Going 1 for 3. I don't know, dog. I'm gonna keep an open mind and wait for a trailer. But I will say, if this next Batman game is this next one is not it, we know why, bro. You see Sean Murray low-key's money spread on Twitter. Nah, I didn't see what you're talking about. I'm sorry, I hated Origins with a passion. Oh my god, bro. I thought Arkham Origins was overhated. I think Arkham Origins was better than well, no, I'm thinking Arkham Origins. I mean Assassin's Creed Origins. I don't know why my brain went to Arkham Origins. I liked Assassin's Creed. Well, yeah, he's talking about Assassin's Creed. I liked Origins. Origins was cool. I was about to go on a tangent. I was like, I thought Arkham Origins was better than Arkham Knight, but no. I don't know, man. This could go either way. Origins was the start of the end. That's a fair take. I liked Origins, but I can understand people's take on that. I liked Origins, I liked Odyssey, but I hated Valhalla. And so what's the name somewhere in between for me? The new one, Shadows. What are you linking? Oh, this is the No Man's Sky thing you're talking about. So he just tweeted out a heart and a picture of a timeline of No Man's Sky. Oh, he's just talking about how much they've shown support to the game. Does this game have like a healthy community still? Shout out to them for fixing their game. They had the opportunity to really just fuck this game up, because when it launched, it was in a terrible state. And they really had the opportunity to just give up. But over almost the last 10 years, they have, goddamn, time flies, bro. Since 2016, this game is almost 10 years old. Chat, you guys are fucking old. Has it been that long? The money spread? Yeah, I guess it's like a digital money spread. He's flexing on people like, god damn, man. I feel like this game came out just yesterday. I remember giggling sitting in people's Twitch streams because like the night this game came out was one of the funniest nights, bro. You had to be there because I remember For those who are not familiar with my content, like we went to E3 for like 10 years straight. Shout out to Watts with the raid. We went to E3 for like 10 years straight, bro. And I remember we played No Man's Sky. We saw people play No Man's Sky early at E3. And I remember we came back to the GI podcast, me, Ethos, and JG. And we said that game, we said, chat, that game is not it. But you got to remember, there was so much hype for this game, man. Yeah, we're old. There was so much hype. People thought we were hating. So when that game came out, it was the funniest fucking night on Twitch because I had like 5 streams open and it was just people. Yeah, no man's buy is what they was calling that shit. I had like 5 streams open and you could just tell people were bored, trying not to fall asleep. You could tell they were trying to force themselves to like it. But I'm also going to give clout. I'm going to give credit. You know, they fucked up. They stumbled out the gate, but they fixed it and now people love it. So I can't be mad at it, man. I wish more companies would do this shit. What did you link? Shout out to Plum Xavier with the sub. Shout out to Sean Murray and the team. Yeah, I already got that. You guys are not breaking any news on that one. You could play it for 800 hours. Yeah, you can. I won't. In other news, Saints Row's reboot reportedly started as a direct sequel to Saints Row 3. Let's find out more about why the latest Saints Row failed. New details about the 2022 Saints Row reboot have surfaced online, suggesting that that game was originally intended to be a sequel to Saints Row the Third. Shout out to Grizz with the sub. For those unaware, a Saints Row reboot was released in 2022, developed by Volition and published by Deep Silver. The game featured a brand new story and characters featuring a crime-based adventure in Santalesso. However, fans of the series were not happy with the direction, with many expressing disappointment over the shift in tone and the narrative's lack of substance. Yeah, I feel like the gameplay was too simple, too easy. It really wasn't like worth the wait. It wasn't the worst. I would say that I feel like this game was a little overhated. It wasn't the worst thing that I ever played, but I do feel like the Saints Row reboot was super, super generic. It was painfully generic. It felt very uninspired. I feel like that was a better way of putting it, but I feel like, you know, when the internet want to dunk on something, they gonna dunk on it. The details about the Saints Row reboot originally being a sequel came from Mrs. Saints Godzilla 21 video on YouTube. In this video, the creator discusses their 2019 visit to Volition's development studio, highlighting every detail, story point, or other aspects that were cut or changed during the transition from a sequel to a reboot. The game was to be called Saints Row Cinco and would arrive as a direct sequel to Saints Row the Third. To make the Saints Row sequel a possibility, they would have to retcon all events from Saints Row 4, which was not a Saints Row game. That was a superhero game. It was fun, but it wasn't a Saints Row game. Shout out to MK with the sub. And even negate Johnny Gat's death in the third installment. So instead of an alien invasion, the Saints, along with the boss, would have to exit Steelport and establish a new base in Santalesso. The sequel would have also featured all the original Saint members as the main characters in the sequel. Moreover, the developers intended to make this a fan service game, checking off all things that were requested over the years. The Saints Row sequel would follow a 2080 rule for its tone, where 20% would be inspired by Saints Row 3 and 80% would be inspired by Saints Row 2. That sounds like a much better game. Funny enough, Saints Row 4 was what made me play Mass Effect. What do you mean? There was also a secret mission in the game where players would have the chance to confront and kill Dex. The Saints Row sequel is so far in development that Pierce's actor had recorded some of the lines for it too. Shout out to Rex with the sub, appreciate it. This news made me mad. I remember playing the Saints Row game for the first time and it was disappointing. Isn't even a good enough word to describe it. I feel that. It was just super generic, like the shooting. It was way too silly. That's what I liked about Saints Row. It was silly, but it was like, I would say Saints Row, the reboot, was like, what was the last Thor movie? Not Ragnarok, but the one that came after Ragnarok, the one with the screaming goats. It was like that movie, whereas like they were just trying way too hard with the fucking Love and Thunder. Yeah, Saints Row was like Love and Thunder. I'm like, God damn, we get it. Screaming goats. Like, it's not fucking funny the first time. Let's see. When things started to change, things reportedly changed as soon as THQ Nordic acquired Deep Silver, with the former outright rejecting the sequel idea and forcing Volition to go back to the drawing board. For the new story, heavy restrictions were placed on what characters would be able to say, including swear words. Then a new version of the reboot was pitched, which would retain all the original Saints. However, that was rejected by THQ Nordic as well. Damn, now I feel bad for the developers, man. This is why I be telling y'all, you can't go too hard at the developers. The developers wanted to make the game that everybody wanted. Once again, the suits ruined everything. The publisher. The fucking publisher, man. Oh, boy. Others canceled and rejected features for the Saints Row sequel were also revealed. Altor was going to return instead of the Marshals, with the skill tree being split into wealth, fame, and muscle branches. Body shields were also going to return, but Deep Silver rejected them from being too violent. What? Criminal Ventures would have allowed players to customize the entire city, choosing what businesses to place in the open world. They also had a proclamation system which allowed players to instill laws in districts under their control. These laws would vary from setting dress codes to enacting standoffs as a method of resolving conflicts. That actually sounds pretty fun. The game will also bring almost like a Sims vibe to the game. The game also was bringing back cribs and customization, where players could customize cribs in the church and place items where they wished. They could place items where they wish. You could also purchase furniture from the store, but these features were cut. Moreover, cheats would have been unlocked during the end game. What? Both. I gotta hit both. Requiring players to find and unlock a massive secret Genkai pyramid to make them available. Also, New Game Plus was cut. There was a lot more details in Miss Godzilla's video, which you can find embedded below. Readers should also note that these details do not come with an official source, so treat it with a grain of salt. That's true. Take it with a grain of salt. If this game, let's act like it's real for a second. If this game was real, this sounds like a much better game than what they made. What the fuck is TH Nordic's problem? THQ's Nordic. This is not even the original THQ. That's why it's called THQ Nordic. THQ, they went like bankrupt, and then another investment company went and bought them, and that's why then they changed the name to THQ Nordic. So to me, it sounds like the people who were funding the project didn't understand Saints Row. They didn't understand what the fans wanted and what made the series popular. Because like, how do you agree? Because as a publisher, they agreed to fund this game, right? How do you agree to fund an open world crime action game and then get upset that it's an open world crime action game? They said, oh no, this is too violent. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's like me agreeing to fund a racing game and then being upset there's cars in it. Nah, we only wanted to race on foot. Nigga, I pitched to you a fucking traditional racing game like Forza. What are you talking about? And you said cool. Yo, shout out to Rashawn the Don with the sub. That doesn't make any sense. That's unfortunate, bro. Embracer Group. Is THQ Nordic under Embracer Group? Yeah, because they are the most hated investment group, man. Probably trying to appeal to younger gamers for some reason. That doesn't make any sense because younger gamers are excited about Grand Theft Auto 6. You got to keep in mind, Grand Theft Auto 5, that's been around since the Xbox 360 PS3 game. Friendly reminder, guys, in case you forgot. So PS3, PS4, PS5, the PS6 is almost here, guys, in about 2 years. That's 4 different console generations. And PlayStation's, not PlayStation 6, but GTA 6 is still not here. So like, there's a lot of people that grew up with Grand Theft Auto. So like, that's stupid. That's out of touch. Like, no, they grew up with that content, bro. Grand Theft Auto is one of the biggest IPs in the world. Not the biggest video game, one of the biggest IPs in the world, bro. The day Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out will be a holiday. The world will stop. It's much, because I'm not a super Grand Theft Auto fan, but like, I'm just I also got to be real. The day Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, the world will stop. I would not be shocked if the Dow Jones goes down a little. The Dow Jones is down 5% today. The NASDAQ, I would not be surprised. Motherfuckers is calling out of work. So, nah, this doesn't make any sense to me, and this is disappointing, man. Yeah, that S&P 500 taking a dip. Man, that sucks. That sucks. Friendly reminder, publishers suck. Other news, we got another banger that just dropped. For people who say gaming is dead, a lot of people were asking me if I was going to play this game. There's too many games to play. I'm not interested, but I also like to put people on to shit just in case, you know, you might be interested in this. Do we need another Saints Row? Do we need it? No, but if it was good, I wouldn't complain. Hell Is Us reviews have dropped. Seeing some 9s, 9.5, some 8.5, some 7s. The current Open Critic is 82 and the Metacritic is 75. I've seen some people in last week in the chat say the demo was pretty cool. For the most part, people are liking the game. So if you have any interest in it, you know, I think the one thing I've seen from the reviews that people really like is it drops you into this mysterious world with no type of direction. And you just got to figure out where to go and what to do. and the combat's pretty fun. Me personally, I'm not trying to do that, but you know, teach his own. Memory-based game. Great game, not for everyone though. Yeah, I would say that. Great game, but not for everyone is a perfect recommendation. Yeah, I would say that. So I mean, if there's any interest, look up some trailers on YouTube because it's another one that's getting some pretty decent reviews. You said Lost Souls aside? Yeah, we're gonna talk about that because once again, I was right. Chat never want to listen. Chat never want to listen. In Ubisoft news, Ubisoft says it's working on the future of Rayman, but don't expect news from us too soon. So if you're looking for a new platform from Rayman, you know, let's see what they're talking about. Ubisoft is set to celebrate all things Rayman as it gets ready to mark the series' 30th anniversary, promising it's working on the future of the series. For those unaware, Rayman is the first big video game that Ubisoft ever published. But for some reason, they act like he doesn't exist. Some of the best recent Ubisoft games have actually been those recent Rayman games, but they love to like treat him like the redheaded stepchild for some reason like that. The official Rayman Twitter has long been dormant, only resurfacing a handful of times in 2020 and then once again in 2021, but not all since then. Yesterday, September 1st, however, it was resurrected to bring us up to speed on what's happening in Rayman's world. They said, Rayman turns 30. Join us for our official channels to celebrate an incredible legacy, the account exclaimed. Attaching a brief video, and the video producer, we just watched the fucking video.
Hello everybody, my name is Loïc and I'm joining you from Ubisoft Montpellier.
Picture player, Elon.
We are very...
Oops, sorry. I thought that was gonna improve the video quality. I was trying to see. Yeah, this shit go to 720p, man.
Loïc and I'm joining you from Ubisoft Montpellier. We are very grateful to be part of this awesome event and get the chance to talk to you, the fans, directly. A bit about myself, I joined Ubisoft 20 years ago and I've been working on the Rayman franchise since 2006 on projects such as Rayman Raving Rabbits,
Gears Reloaded servers have been fucked the last 2 days. They was fucked the day it launched. That's why I stopped playing that shit. That shit was a day one uninstall. I was like, that's not it.
Rayman Origins, and Rayman Legends. Rayman was born at Ubisoft Montpellier back in 1995, and for the past 30 years, he has gone on many adventures thanks to studios across the world like Ubisoft Paris, Ubisoft Milan, or Ubisoft Annecy. Starting now and across our community channels, we're taking a moment to celebrate this
new mobile game coming? I hope not. Don't do that.
Incredible history by looking back. We will be sharing behind the scenes, anecdotes, developer interviews, concept art, and more throughout the months to come. Rayman couldn't have become such a legend without all of you, the fans. You've helped to keep his legacy going, and we're incredibly thankful for that. As we said in the past, a very talented team at Ubisoft Montpellier and Ubisoft Milan are currently working together on the future of Rayman. Don't expect news from us too soon.
So it's in pre-production. They are working on a new game. Did I miss the Bubsy trailer? I'm not watching it.
But rest assured, Rayman is
not watching Bubsy 4D.
I'll pass the mic to a very special guest I'm sure you're already familiar with. So thank you and see you soon.
Yeah, Rayman gotta say Ubisoft, man. The only problem with Rayman is like the games are good, but I don't know if Rayman has the pull. Like earlier, somebody was like, the way they were talking about GTA, I'm like, no, that's the way I see Rayman. I like Rayman. Some of y'all might like him, but like, I don't know if he's popular with the kids anymore. I don't think the kids know who that is. And honestly, that's Ubisoft's fault. They haven't kept him relevant. So like, I feel like even if it is a great game, it's going to come out of nowhere and it's probably not going to sell that well. Kind of like the last two. The last two games they put out were fucking great, but they didn't sell well. Because I think they've done a piss poor job of keeping that character relevant. This generation doesn't know Rayman. Yeah. And you can't make the argument that it's platforming because it's not platforming. Astrobot just won Game of the Year. That last Ratchet and Clank was fucking fire. I just think the character doesn't, I don't want to say resonate. It just isn't popular anymore. It's almost, they might be better off making a new IP or something. Well, it's Ubisoft. They're not going to make a new IP. What am I talking about? My bad, Chad. I'm over here. Don't get it twisted. The only reason they're making a new Rayman is because fucking Tencent owns all their biggest properties. So now it forces them to resurrect some of the old shit. Even if they're working on a new game, like he said, don't expect anything too soon. But facts I forgot about Rayman. Rayman is the only reason Ubisoft exists. That was their first game on PlayStation 1. I'm 26. I don't know anything about Rayman besides it. Yeah, it was a PS1 era game. That's why. Super OG. And then last but not least, this last article I got in this batch. We've been seeing a lot of negative Switch news, so I thought I'd put something positive into the universe. A lot of developers have been complaining about the power of the Switch 2, saying they're struggling to port their game over to the platform, kind of like Borderlands 4. We don't know the situation going on with From Software's Elden Ring, but I've seen 3 different games complaining about the power of the Switch 2. It seems EA is okay though, because FC26, aka FIFA 26, on the Switch 2 will be on parity basically with the PS5 version, according to EA Sports developers. Now we know the folks behind big AAA sports game releases, and especially early ones where they have to scrape the barrel and make up new worlds like True Motion and things of this nature to keep us interested, like to engage the pre-release hype train. It's part of life, it's part of nature, it keeps the soul warm and the planet spinning. However, speaking of Game Rant a few days ago, developer Andres Wilsdorf has been rather unexpectedly verbose in his claims of just how nicely his latest football game is running on Nintendo's new machine, to the point that it almost feels a little too good to be true, especially when considering how some of the game's beta and show floor demos seem to have demo players seem to be finding things. During an interview about the game with line producer Wildoff and career mode designer director Peter O'Donnell, they said, in general, the Switch 2 was really exciting. Being on the platform with FIFA this year, the performance is what really excites me. It's on par basically what we see on the PS5 and the Xbox. Again, it's a handheld console, but for the first time I played it, I was really impressed. Then we also saw it working on the simulation and times it takes to simulate the season and so on, which was very, very close to what we saw on PlayStation and Xbox dev kits. That's really impressive. One of the arguments that people have been making is maybe Nintendo is sabotaging, whether it's intentional or not, these developers, because a lot of developers are complaining they're not getting dev kits for the Switch 2, making it hard to optimize and create games for the Switch 2. So maybe it's not the Switch 2 isn't powerful enough to run these games. Maybe Nintendo is not properly supporting developers, thus why there's been a lack of third-party support for the Switch 2. It's still hard to tell, and I feel like there's still not enough evidence. Because on the flip side, I could also argue that we're talking about fucking FIFA. Like, this game doesn't change that much year to year. The only time sports games ever change their engine is at the top of a new console generation. So when the PlayStation 6 comes out with FIFA 29 or whatever one we're on, that's one's going to get a graphical upgrade, and that's going to be the foundation for the entire generation. This game doesn't change that much year to year, so it's probably easier to optimize for the Switch 2 versus other games like a Borderlands 4 that might have been built from the ground up. There's no ray tracing slop in FIFA. There's ray tracing slop. Nintendo not giving dev access to the hardware they need is just a boneheaded business move. It's hard to know that situation too, because in the defense of Nintendo, maybe there's not a lot of dev kits going around due to, I don't know, tariffs. Like, they got to build these dev kits with parts that need to be imported and then exported. And a lot of the biggest studios are in the United States. Who's to say? I don't know if they have to pay for the dev kits. I don't know how that situation works. I would love to know what the fuck is going on with Nintendo. But we're still seeing conflicting reports on the power of the Switch 2. Let's give it another year or two. At bare minimum, EA said, we ain't got no problem. Maybe you niggas is not talented. Maybe that's the reason why you can't develop for the Switch 2. We gotta continue to see how this plays out. Scroll down a bit more. Oh, is this actual footage? FIFA 26 closed beta Switch gameplay. Looks okay. Yeah, I guess Nintendo wanted to make sure the top selling games run well. Although that frame rate kind of dropping, bro, and the game not moving. Nah, there's definitely a graphical downgrade. You can tell. The texture, yeah, the textures don't look the best. Like, I want to see actual gameplay. But like right here, just based off of their movement, it looks like the frames are going below 30. I gotta see actual gameplay. That's not enough. They could have dropped the frame rate just for the loading stuff. 720p, tight shit. Yeah, they're saying beta players are finding issues. Say it ain't so. Now, of course, this fantastic news. This is fantastic news on the face of things, but it doesn't mesh well with some of the real world evidence that was been presented with elsewhere. Indeed, there's been a beta of the game running on the Switch and Switch 2. And players of that version have been reporting in on the game's Reddit forum with their impressions. Is this the Switch one? Oh, Switch 2 gameplay. As you can see from this particular post, it seems as though the game hasn't been impressing everyone, although it is impossible to 100% confirm that these people are actually playing the Switch 2 version rather than the Switch 1 beta. Yeah, this looks like it could be the Switch 1. But then it's also like, I can't trust EA either. Because at the end of the day, EA likes the money, and EA likes money, and it's their job to sell us the game. So of course the dev is going to be like, yeah, it runs great on the Switch 2. You buy it, that shit runs like ass. It's just too many conflicting reports. So I personally would like to take a moment to thank everybody who bought the Switch 2 day one and continues to beta test that thing for the next 2 years for us. We appreciate you guys, man. They've been dropping the same version of FIFA OG on the Switch for years. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it again. There's no Warren Bossy say ass graphics.